Welcome to the Sixth Sense Foundation.
All she do is choose. 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 All she do is choose.
Hey, it's Dr. Erica Jones here with the Art of Transition podcast. As always, you know we got a very special guest. This young lady right here is really close to my heart. I'm going to let her introduce herself to you.
I am Honey Andrade, and I am a celebrity hairstylist. I am a product CEO, amongst a bunch of other things, but those would be my main titles.
Yeah. So I met Honey because Honey started actually doing my locks and was really kind of teaching me how to take care of them and like the things I needed to do better. And she always had an interest in just making sure that my hair was healthy above all things, and just making sure that like I'm healthy. She just has like a genuine interest in her clients. So that's how I met her. And she's been making several transitions since she started doing my hair. But I kind of want you to talk about how you even transitioned into like doing hair and then having like all like these different products that you have right now. Oh, and she has two beautiful little guys. I definitely want to talk about how you kind of transition into like business as a mother as well. So
I guess the first transition, most significant transition, is moving from Wal-mart to running my own business. And that was a quick transition. It had to happen. I was 3 months pregnant with my second son. I already had a 9-month-old. And I was working in Walmart, getting paid little to nothing. I was tired as hell. I worked all the way to 9 months.
Wow.
And I was actually working as an assistant for a hairstylist. I had been working for her for 6 years.
As a side hustle?
No, that was like my main hustle.
And Walmart was a side hustle?
Walmart was a side hustle because neither one of them paid me enough.
Wow.
And even after 6 years, she still didn't pay me enough.
Okay.
And it got to a point where even with me being pregnant and doing everything that she needed me to do, her clients were starting to come like, hey, well, why are we paying you? Because she's pretty much doing all of the work. And it was whisper in the shop. And one day I came in and she said, I don't need your help no more. Just like that.
One stream of income gone.
And the most that I had, it was loyalty. I knew that I didn't want to be there anymore, but I had been there so long. She needed me, and I knew that she needed me, but I also needed her. So I took the short end of the stick, because ultimately that's what I wanted to do. And she taught me everything that I knew about hair.
Got it.
So when I came in and she said, I don't need you anymore, I'm like, I was also doing part-time in school, hair school, and I went to an instructor, a barber instructor that worked at the school. He had a shop, and he said, I will give you a booth, even though you haven't finished yet, as long as you continue to go to school and you can pay.
Wow.
And that's what started.
So he believed in you.
He gave me a chance.
That's all you needed.
All I needed was a chance to show up. And I took everything that she had taught me, just being in the shop, which was more than what the people around me that I was going to school knew, because it wasn't just the technique of hair. It was the clients.
Dealing with people.
Dealing with people.
The
Dealing with
psychology
older people. Dealing with people that weren't always so nice or knew exactly what they wanted or were picky. It was easy to deal with those people.
So you got the customer service skills, you got the psychology, you got the on-the-job training that a lot of people at school like never got.
Right. And that was the first step.
Okay.
So it was a leap of faith.
Okay.
And my mom believed in me. He believed in me. I remember my mom going to the beauty supply store, regular beauty supply store, and getting everything I needed to start. Everything. It was probably like $500 worth of stuff.
Wow.
And she was like, you'll pay me back one day. And I just started right away. My clients were slow. But before you knew it, once I started like posting on Instagram and posting on Facebook, then clients that were actually going to her started giving me a chance.
Because they understood the level of service that they were already going to get.
So at that point, I didn't know much about business. I just knew I needed to make money for my 2 kids.
Okay.
I had just got an apartment. I had just got a car. Like, all of this happened when she fired me. And it was like, well, and she was the push for me to do all of this individual stuff.
Yeah.
And I'm like, how you, it was devastating. But if she would not have fired me, I would have not jumped out and said, listen, this is what I got to do. I probably would have found all these different avenues that I thought I was good at, skipping past what I knew I was good at.
Okay. So what resources do you feel like, outside of the soft skills that we talked about, what resources did you use, or did you actually like research and find on your own that helped you learn more about the business side of it?
The main part of anything that helped was failing.
Okay.
So I was always big on paperwork. Always big on making something mine. So I started a clothing line for my kids before they were 1 and 2. And I wanted to get it copyrighted, trademarked, LLC'd, just because I'm like a sicko for paperwork. Like, I wanted everything to be legit. I didn't do much with it, but when Hair by Honey came, I got all that paperwork together. And the LLC's been going since 2011. And when I fell into hard times, I started searching on what I could do. My credit was shot.
Okay.
Couldn't really move. And then I realized I had business credit. And business credit I knew nothing about.
We don't get
lessons on that.
No, we don't.
So I researched, what I needed to do. I got a little loan from PayPal.
Wow.
And it got me on my feet. But knowing that, it was like, damn, like, if this is where it's at, let me figure out how to keep it moving. So every time I had a new idea or a new something, I made sure the paperwork was right first. Even if I didn't do nothing with it. If I had a product line that I wanted to launch or whatever, it was, let me get the LLC. Let me do this. Let me get the nonprofit. Let me whatever, because ultimately that's what I'm going to need to fall back on.
You started with a formula. Yeah. So now you're at a point where you are a celebrity hairstylist. You're a mom of 2, and you're like, COVID hits, right? So things were like really like changing very, very quickly, and you were still able to like pivot and transition into something else. Whereas like a lot of people were still and kind of still are stuck, and they don't really know what to do.
Well, I think the biggest thing was, like I said, I took a loss the first time that I learned a lesson. And I forgot the loss that I took. So as I started creeping on another depression, it was like PTSD. I started remembering the things that I went through, and I didn't want to go without. So I jumped into, what can I do before COVID even started? What can I do to make sure that this doesn't happen? Because I was now moving into a new house. And I'm like, I don't want this to happen again. Repeat it, you know, that's on me. So I started getting into like natural things. What really makes the hair grow? What really makes the hair shine? What do my clients need? What does my son need? My son has psoriasis. We didn't know what the heck was going on with his head. It's bleeding. It's, you know, it's painful. He has all this pretty hair, but he doesn't want to, you know, do anything to it. Let me focus on him. Let me focus on what I can do to treat him, because he's at home. He's the dummy at home that I can use all day, and I can see what works and what doesn't. So I researched what helps this, what makes this grow, what makes this, you know, and just researching all these natural remedies. And in turn, I felt like if I would have known this years ago, a lot of things in our life would have been different just by natural resources. Everything that we need is somewhere out here.
It is.
And we're sitting there paying for this, paying for this, paying for that. We don't realize how much money we're actually paying for stuff that doesn't necessarily work. So I started with him, and then secretly I started using all my products on my clients. I have different clients, different walks of life, different problems, using on each and every one of them to see what worked and what didn't. Once I realized that things were working, I started branding. I started figuring things out. Believe it or not, my product Vitamin B, my product line Vitamin B, the name was the last thing I came up with. I was so focused on getting the origins, wherever the, you know, the ingredients was most potent, so that I can get the best results. I was doing everything but looking for a name for products.
But
that came the last 5 minutes.
It's here now.
Yes.
The beautiful packaging. I've been using this on my scalp. It's really been helping me, for sure. So it's like amazing to see how you have transitioned into like different types of products now, and this has been holding my
your locks together.
The packaging is
Control Alt Delete. You can control the locks, control the braids, control the edges.
Okay. All right. Control.
You gotta have a why. You gotta have a why, and like you can see in my products, you can see in my life that there's a why. You know, I had to jump out on blind faith because I had kids. I had to, you know, find something that worked for me and my family and my kids. Like, you have to have a why, no matter what the why is. I'm an animal lover. I love cats. I love sea creatures. I love everything. So even with my packaging, I wanted to make sure that it was all natural bamboo and glass. I didn't want no plastic. I didn't want things that could be found in the sea or that harm the animals. Or like, you have to have a why. You have to have something to believe in, stand for something, or fall for anything. It does not matter what it is. As long as you believe in it, go that route, because somebody else is going to mess with you.
So what advice would you give for like mothers who are trying to pivot? Maybe mothers who have never worked before, who are now entering the workforce and who are now saying, wait, I've got to find a way to transition. I have got to find something to do. I got to get out of this house.
The biggest advice that I can give is that you cannot do it on your own. And you gotta somewhere find some vulnerability and some humility to say, listen, I need some help. I think for so long I thought I could do it. I don't need nobody until it started crashing down, and it's like somebody reached out and gave me a hand. Somebody said, listen, I believe in you, I'm gonna give you a chance. But had I said, you know what, I need some help, I could have saved myself a whole lot of bullshit on the way. And you know, it's hard to ask for help, especially when the world is the way that it is, or that you haven't been doing anything, and this the one person or the few people that you're supposed to ask for help are not very supportive. But there's so many. You got to know there's people that love you.
Yeah.
Everyone has a circle, and all it takes is for you to just say, "Hey, I'm thinking of this. I don't know where to move, or I need some help."
What are your thoughts? What do you think about it?
And it will take off from there. I have so many people that have just believed in the process.
Yeah.
They don't know what's going on with the product. They don't know what I can do with hair. But they believe in the process. They see how hard I go for my kids. They see how hard I go for the people that I love, and how much I'll give even not having anything, because it always come back tenfold.
Yeah. So how do you juggle everything? Like, you got a business. Like, how many products is this? 1, 2, 3, 4, and we got the mug here.
I actually went and supported someone's business who actually made this mug for me. And she's dope as hell, because I couldn't have done that.
Who did it?
Zarasia. She does everything. She does everything. She makes branding for all businesses. Like, if you have a small business, or you're trying to start a business, she has starter business packages. So and now it's COVID, so she got masks that come with it with your logo. She's dope.
What's her IG for
I gotta find it.
Yeah, we're
gonna post it. We're gonna put it on there.
We gotta plug her IG. I'm just amazed.
And this is merch.
Yeah, like I'm literally amazed right here. Essential. We all know the importance of that.
This whole line that I have right now, because I know that in my mind it's going to grow bigger than this, because where it started and when it started, and it being such an essential time, I wanted to give everybody the inspiration, like, you are an essential bitch. No matter what you're doing, no matter what you feel like you're capable of, you are essential. If you've made it through these days, you're essential. We need you. Somebody needs you. So let's keep it going. After this, you come up after this, we are like you don't have to have a business or a product line or whatever, but your mind got to be in a place where it's like, you know what, I made it through. What's next?
Exactly.
I think,
what's my next transition?
Yeah, people are asking, like, if you don't come up with this, you don't come up with this, but everyone has a different situation going on at home. There's people at home that aren't used to being at home, and at home is not even the safest place to be. And they're getting through it.
Yeah.
So as we're thinking of people that are bored at home, there's people that are, like, fighting for their life at home. And in order to come out of it, you got to go through it. And so to those people, or even the people that don't know what to do, if you get through each day, you are essential. We need you for something.
Yeah.
So that is the whole theme of this line, because it'll turn into something else when 2020 comes. I'm sure of it.
Yeah, I'm just so proud of you.
Thank you. Thank you.
I'm so very proud of, like, the transitions that you've been making. And there's an art to it. And I always tell people when they compliment me on my hair, I'm like, oh, she's an artist. She's not. Oh, you went to barber school too, right?
Yeah.
So that's, I don't know how
I actually
people know
apprenticed.
that.
Instead of going to barber school, I apprenticed.
Okay.
I worked with nothing but barbers for 7 years. I was the only stylist. And that was my peaceful place, because the drama had nothing to do with me. Like, men got their own drama. It had nothing to do with me. It was a peaceful place. A lot of hair salons is like, so I've always found myself, even after the barbershop, it taught me so much, that going into a salon where it was more, I guess, adequate for older people and the older crowd, which I'm used to dealing with. I learned a lot of what to say, what not to say, and how to deal with people from the barbershop.
And she's telling y'all a little bit about having a niche too. You hear she's talking about the demographics of people that she serves. So
I know my crowd.
Yeah.
I may not be the best at what is next and new, but I don't limit myself, but I stick to what I know. And that is from what I was taught assisting. You know, how to treat people, how to be a good assistant, how to be a good worker, how to be able to take direction, how to be able to do what someone else says, not necessarily what you want for them. Those are all things that you need to work anywhere. And they try to teach you in that 9 to 5. But instead you get so diminished in the 9 to 5 that when it's time for you to open up or do something or branch off, it's just like me.
I see.
But in my field, I was blessed enough to have to actually cater to people. And I was fortunate enough for it to be older women that was like, oh no, baby, this is what you're doing wrong.
Yeah.
This is what you need to do.
that soft correction, that type of positive, you know, that constructive feedback.
Yeah, and it's not always, it don't feel good all the time. But, you know, you think it back now, and I think that that's why I am the way that I am, even with my kids. I'm very, like, straightforward, to the point. This is what we got to do. You know, my kids having their own businesses, very, very young. You know, I wanted that to happen. They seen what it was like, but I still allow them to be free with, I don't want to do this no more, or I do want to do this, or
Cash.
Yes,
Cash did these,
and he was what, 9 or 10.
custom. The paint's like, you know, it's this is high quality, like, man. Her son did these.
And you're still wearing them years later.
Yeah, and people are still complimenting me on them. So it just goes to show, like, your energy just continues to,
I give them a chance like someone gave me a chance.
Yeah.
And because I'm more business minded than my mom was, then I show them something early. Now, if what they want to do with it,
yeah.
but that's all they know, that's all they see.
Yeah.
So they gonna work it out one way or the other. We're gonna find some business, whether it's what I like or what you like. We know what there's one goal, and that's for us to be a team, stick together, win by any means, because the money isn't everything.
Yeah.
And it's lonely at the top. So there's enough for everyone to eat.
Yeah, and then you guys are taking care of one another as well. So that's a beautiful thing. I'm just so happy to have you.
I'm happy to be here.
Tell the people where they can find you if you want to be found.
Of course. My website is misshoneyandradey.com. You can find ways to book for an appointment, book for shoots, book for modeling. You can find all the music that I write. I write a lot of music. You can find and purchase all my products. And I have a blog that I've had for a very long time that's subscription based because it's a little for the adult. But you can ask me questions. You can get resources. I have a nonprofit, Hair by Honey University, that's geared to women and young boys who are looking for a way, don't know a way, or don't know how to ask for that way. Like, I want to be that person. If you don't want to ask anybody else, if you're not vulnerable enough to ask anybody else, I have the resources, even if you don't. And if I don't have them, I know somebody that does. And we will make it happen.
You're right
so
about that.
I want to be that person that people can ask, like, hey, what do I do?
I
want to charge for it.
Spell out Miss Honey Andrade.
It's MISSHONEYANDRADE.com.
Hey, and I mean, it's been a pleasure. Thank you so much.
Thank you for having me.
I got some nice goodies here. Essential.
Welcome to the Sixth Sense Foundation.